Meninga and Lopez to be back tonight at all?
No, like, I mean, they made the announcement we're on the flight and so forth. You know, you prepare for it as best you can. But, I mean, Meninga's always been such a tough cover. Yeah, look, you know, they made the announcement and it was good for them that they're back on the court. And again, especially for Meninga, we just tried different lineups and different rotations. I think he scored like the first 10 points. And then we put Marcus out there and Marcus was like, he was struggling a little bit for air. We want to try and keep him out there as long as we could. But yeah, it was a tough cover.
Cody Statman was great tonight. I think he's actually been pretty good all season when he gets the nod. Have you been impressed with his development this year? Yeah, and again, he's taken the opportunity, right? So Rain being out for 2/3 of the season, you know, you get those opportunities, right? Especially he's a big scoring guard, and his ability to engage a little bit with the help side defense has been improved and gotten better. But no, it's good, and like I said, he's obviously looking forward to his first Boomers call up for the FIBA window. So yeah, like he's just slowly stacking days and will continue to get better. Do you find it hard to fill the void when Jack only has 6 points in a game? Jack McBain is. Yeah, and again, we had some good looks. There were some actions we got. You know, it wasn't we weren't struggling to score ourselves. The problem was we were struggling to stop them from scoring. So, you know, we were getting quite a bit. You know, like the looks that we wanted, knowing how the coverage was going to be on Jack. And then slowly when we started to get Jack involved in a few stuff, he had some good looks that didn't drop for him. And that's pretty much where it started to dry up on the offensive end. But
if Melbourne win tonight and Adelaide beat Perth, United could finish first, like we said. Here's the road to the championship. There's the playing game that they are trying to avoid. And it's the tappy Jack jumpers that you do not want to meet. Look at Adelaide and Sydney Kings.
You seen them lately?
That didn't matter. Last night's not symbolic of what will happen.
And then we end up in a best of 5, the championship series. I think there's plenty of people that want to see a number of different teams that make it there, but this is the road to the championships. Melbourne United, where are they finishing?
Well, I think that it's going to be a tough one for them here tonight, so I think that they're going to be stuck in that 5th place, and they would go into that game, a home court game against the Jack Jumpers. And the reality of it is, if you don't win that game, if you're not good enough to be competitive enough in that game, you've got no chance to win a championship. Now, we've seen how good they are, and they're going to have their hands full when you're looking at the scoring spread of the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. They can hurt you in so many different ways. They're the #1 team in the competition for letting it fly from the three-point line, and they shoot it at a decent clip.
Well, as long as you defend hard, Josh King will leave you in the game and give you the green light. But I anticipate tonight a very aggressive Nathan Sobey. He really hasn't got it cooking recently, so anticipate him to get it popping.
Well, we know what Southeast Melbourne Phoenix can do, but we don't know what United can do. We don't know what they are going to show up and give. It'll be dependent on a few things here tonight. Let's get over to our 4th member of the commentary team, Jack Heverin. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Kels. Great to be with you. Always a fantastic atmosphere when Melbourne and Southeast Melbourne go head-to-head. But no doubt for Melbourne, they will still be stinging after the round 11 loss where they went down 111-86 as we take a look at the starting lineup for Melbourne United. The temptation must have been there for Dean Vickerman to put Milton Doyle back into the starting lineup, but Dash Daniels remains. Finn Delaney has found himself in a real funk right now and needs to find some form at the back end of the season. And for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, steady as she goes. 9 of their last 12 games have been victories. 3 of their last 4 have been victories. And right now, Derek Rucker, this Southeast Melbourne team know exactly what they need to be doing.
They certainly do, and they bring high energy on both ends of the floor. This is going to be a thrilling contest.
Chris Reed, Ken Arick, Travis Stewart are the 3 men in charge of this one. As we continue to work our way through all the permutations and combinations for the Mitsubishi Motors ladder. And that right there is the ideal start for Melbourne.
And huge boost to Chris Golding, who's had a tough time of it of late. And really good set with the pager action. Sets it back big, comes off the handoff, and wide open 3-ball to get him going. Dean Vickerman said before the game that he's making a conscious effort to get Chris going early.
Foxwell can't score. There's Golding who knocks that one clear as well.
And again, Jack, you can never underestimate the desire of Melbourne United in a big-time throwdown.
Daniels retrieves that one. It was worth a look from Golding. He's got a bit of a different look in his face. Wide open this time around. And he has two go begging, but early on, he's the priority.
Andrew, I like it. Come out, be aggressive. 3 really good looks at it. He'd be disappointed to only be 1 of 3. He should probably be 2 of 2 or 2 of 3 at worst, but...
Yeah, they're good looks for Chris. The 2 misses were really good looks. And a player that we haven't spoken about a lot for Melbourne United that really needs to give them a lot more is Finn Delaney. He's another one in the last couple of weeks, Jack, or should be even more than that, 3 or 4 weeks, has had some challenges on the offensive end.
Last 7 games, Finn Delaney. And this is off the back of being scoreless last weekend against Illawarra. Last 7 games averages 7 points and he's shooting it at 25%.
And a lot of those misses are coming from the 3-point line where teams are really congesting the lane, not allowing Melbourne United anything good inside. And Finn Delaney, he gets quality looks from the 3. There was a stretch during the season where he was starting to show signs of being able to stroke it, but that rhythm is gone now, and he needs to find it quickly, Andrew.
Well, that stretch was when they were 9-0, and he's down to 29% from the 3-point line in the season.
The other surprising thing, Jack, is that Jesse Edwards only averages 8 field goal attempts a game.
Is that not enough?
Definitely not enough. Shoots 63% from the field.
He does lead the team in free throw attempts per game. And that's one he's got to make. That's a good set, good action to get him a good look.
Sobey pulls the trigger early. That's bottom of the net.
Well, you know how competitive Sobey is. He sees Golding coming out being super aggressive. That just triggers him to do the same.
25 points in round 11. The last time the 2 teams met, Tyson Walker had a career-high day on Sunday. 30 points in their loss to Illawarra.
He was tough. And Andrew really had some problems with the way he was subbed out of the game a couple of times. So it'll be interesting if he gets it going in this game, if they change how they play him.
Oh, that's right. They used 11 players in the first quarter in that game against Illawarra. 12 in the first 15 minutes.
Dash Daniels has got the defensive assignment on Nathan Sobey. He's picked up a foul early. Tyson Walker is whistled for that one. Let's get over to Kelsey.
Jack, you spoke about the temptation for Dean Vickerman to move Milton Doyle into the starting lineup. He's happy with how they've been starting, but it has been, as a wonder goes for 3, it has been in his focus to get Chris Golding going early. So no surprises that we've seen him put up 3 shots this early. That was the thing that Dean Vickerman wanted. He wanted Chris Golding, ball in his hand, early shots.
Well, that's smart. I like that, Kelsey. And I think it just opens up possibilities for the rest of the United offense as Delaney, his struggles continue at the rim.
Sobey started in promising fashion for Southeast Melbourne, lost the handle that time. In fact, was called for a late foul. So Dash Daniels has picked up too early. We spoke about that defensive job that he's got on Sobey. Now Dean Vickerman has got a decision to make on the next start.
Well, even with him, though, it's not as like it's other players because he doesn't really play starter minutes. He has limited minutes, so him being aggressive early on. And Nathan Sobey's one of the toughest cover when he gets downhill. He's very crafty in the way that he moves his arms to draw the contact and finds his way to the free throw line.
Well, one thing you have to try and eradicate from Sobey's game is his left-hand penetration. He's deadly on his left hand. He does a good job gathering and creating power and elevating and bringing his athleticism into play.
Nominee for the MVP for this season. Named in honour, of course, of the great man sitting at our desk, Andrew Gaze. Bryce Cotton's got 5 of them. He's a nominee. Kendrick Davis, runner-up last year, is a nominee as well. Nathan Sobey, a nominee.
Now, Nathan Sobey wasn't happy because as Chris drove, he extended the arm, inadvertently collected him, and had some choice words to say.
Always some feeling when these 2 teams get together. Throw down 32. Melbourne have won 21 of them. Southeast Melbourne 10. Delaney's pass was picked off by the leading candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, John Brown. Foxwell found John Brown with an offensive foul before that against
Jack.
Owen Foxwell.
Jack, just tough times for Finn Delaney on the offensive end. As I watch him now, and the body language just doesn't look confident, and found himself in between that last time. Should have just shot the 3 ball. Ooh. Another smack in the face. This one goes against Tyson Walker.
And that was just size. Again, inadvertent, but Tyson's so small. Just the extent of the arm and elbow caught him in the grill.
6 minutes 45 remaining. Quarter number 1, John Cain Arena. It's United who started well, and Golding leans in, draws contact, and Josh King's having a good think about this.
Well, this will be interesting, Andrew.
No, he definitely has. He shot fake. Sobey was going by him. Golding leant into him, and they're trying to get the video coordinator to just up the tempo a little bit with the review to check it out. I don't think Josh King's going to risk that one.
It will be Nathan Sobey's second foul.
And he does have an argument, Sobey, as we see Golding.
He's got a good argument.
He's got a great argument.
We know there is an allowance, Andrew, generally for the defender, once he's in the air, for that offensive player to just move outside his frame and create contact. It's just a matter of whether it's excessive. And in that case, deemed not so. Golding gets to the line and knocks down the first couple.
A 91% free throw shooter for the season, Chris Golding.
He's accurate.
What gives you that impression at 91%?
Up there with DJ Vasiljevic, Andrew Gaze, those 90-plus shooters.
Sobey from deep. Wow. And I mean really deep. Fouled with 1 to come.
Yeah, that was a shot of a guy you're thinking, oh, I'm going to come out of the game here, so I'm just going to whack one up. Now, he wasn't going to come out of the game, but that's legit Bunnings Warehouse logo. And that's where you've got to provide the shooter the chance to land. And just Milton Doyle, a little late coming in, gets called for the foul on the N1. Four-point play.
It looked like they didn't effectively communicate. You just got to stay connected to Sobey, because once he crosses that half-court line, it's game on.
He's got 10 of their 12 points so far, Nathan Sobey. He is white hot to start this game. Hunter reaching in. He's called for his first.
Now, Drew, Melbourne United clearly are not the form team out of these two coming into this contest. But if they can get little things to go their way, like Sobey in foul trouble, or maybe get Hunter into foul trouble, it starts to balance the equation a little bit.
Milton Doyle with his first look.
And when you watch this Phoenix team on defense, they are so spread because they're trying to contest ball pressure every single pass.
No good from John Brown. Big offensive rebound by Hunter. And he finds himself on the free throw line. They are the #1 team in the competition for offensive rebounding, Southeast Melbourne. They average 16 a game across the regular season.
And certainly been able to get rewards for that as well. And for a big chunk of the season, they were one of the worst defensive rebounding teams in the competition. And with all this confusion going on, Jack, how do I figure out what are the likely matchups in the finals?
Well, it's actually very simple, Drew. Just go on the NBL website there. You can predict the ladder. It's your chance to win a Dream Hoops Pro system as well. If you can get it right, things will start to get a little easier after tonight.
No, it certainly will. But to me, and it's hard because one-on-one defense, they're also really good.
Yeah, and
Phoenix.
aggressive.
And super aggressive, a lot of ball pressure. But if you can get by the initial defender, you don't have the same level of help like that you have with other teams.
Prime example right there. Jordy Hunter steps out. Hasn't been shooting it as much in recent weeks.
But they're guarding him now. I think early on this season, they were testing the big fella, and he proved them all that he can make him.
He's on a hot streak for a little while there. Tyson Walker wants to go back-to-back. Nice hustle from Edwards. Walker relocates to the corner and knocks down the three.
I like the way Walker's come out again, aggressively acting like it's his team, and I think that's the way it's got to be, as Kyle Bone will get whistled for a foul against Jordy Hunter.
Here's the Amy Root play. See, that's that ball pressure, and that's the antidote to the ball pressure, is simple back cut. And Walker, it's like them really, they've made him the priority, and he's their go-to guy. He's been great throughout the entire season, but what has become more important with the offensive struggles of Melbourne United is putting the ball in his hands and having him create to score or create for others.
Do you like that?
Well, right now, I think it's by necessity. It just hasn't been that same ball movement and cohesion that we saw from Melbourne United early on in the season. And sometimes you just need some individual brilliance.
Phoenix lead by 3. Still 5 minutes left in this first quarter. Delaney about to check back in. Nice hands from Awundu, but it ends up with Milton Doyle. And that is something that Melbourne desperately need. Milton Doyle firing in the first half.
Well, he got a good pass there. He was wide open. Tyson Walker made a very risky move. As good give and go there. Ian Clark right back at him.
The pace in which they run the zoom action and just keep the ball moving. Fun to watch.
Intimidated there on the finger roll, Tyson Walker.
5-on-4 up ahead. Dangerous situation because the Phoenix have got shooters all over the floor. Not that time for Awundu. The 3-ball is their friend, Southeast Melbourne. The 3-ball has been Chris Golding's friend for life.
Beautiful double stagger away. Golding comes off, gets it in rhythm. The pass is on time, on target. 3-ball, United in front.
He's got 9 in the first quarter, Chris Golding. Sobey at the other end wants a piece of the action. He has 10 for Southeast Melbourne. 2 of the best shooters in the NBL going head-to-head in the first quarter. So much on the line for both teams tonight. Walker found himself in a cul-de-sac and then managed to locate Krislovic. Awundu takes care of the rebound. Very quickly slides to the other end and makes it work.
Tough and awkward finish. I thought Golding did a pretty smart defensive job there.
So smart of the offense, just went straight into the chest of the retreating Chris Golding.
Doyle got away from Sobey. And off the window, puts Melbourne back in front.
Their offense is sharper and playing with much more rhythm to it in this first quarter. A lot of points going up, though.
Sobey dumps it off underneath for Malik Lewis. It's knocked out of bounds. Last touch, Southeast Melbourne. First time we've been able to get a break in the last 4 or 5 minutes. It's been end-to-end.
Now, Drewy, this won't make you happy, but United, with this latest substitution, will have now played 10 guys. Chris Golding off to a really good start. He'll have a spell on the bench, despite having 9 early ones.
Ruth Machar checks in. His first look was short. Angus Glover, one of the leading candidates for 6th Man of the Year, also into the game.
Here's as though Dean Vickerman's given the players a lot of freedom just to let it fly. You're open, shoot it, trying to instill some confidence to get their offensive game ticking over.
Well, because their problems have been with shooting the basketball from the three-point line and just the cohesion and the energy, maybe he's just said, guys, let's go out and play. Let's play basketball, not get too caught up in sets and concepts. When you have an opportunity, be aggressive and make a good basketball play, stand up, knock down your shots.
So a foul issue now for Melbourne. That's 2 quick ones on Milton Doyle. And 2 fouls in 4 minutes. When it's some of the senior and experienced guys, Drewy, like a Milton Doyle, like a Nathan Sobey, you're happy to let that ride a little bit more?
I think so. And it's all depends on the circumstances and the context of where the individual and the team is at. And that's where the coach has got to make a decision. And clearly, we saw it early on. Dean Vickerman said, hey, I need to get my guy Chris Goulding going and give him a long leash on his decision-making on the offensive end. And ditto, Milton Doyle.
Well, Drew, you were a coach in this league. If you had 2 fouls at this stage of the game, would you leave yourself in?
Yes.
I think we knew the answer to that one. He'd leave himself in if he had 4 in the first quarter.
Melbourne United off to a good start. Dean Vickerman cheering his bench on, telling them to stay engaged and stay ready.
They've got the ability, Melbourne, if they win tonight, just to change things up as far as the top 4 is concerned. Even keep themselves in that hunt. Delaney scores.
You know what else they do? They also buy time. With the fever break, you have a chance to reset, maybe give some guys got some niggles, introduce some tweaks to what you're currently doing. And here you see, oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's a good, strong move right there. And it still wasn't as smooth as we've seen Delaney be with the basketball. But the bottom line is he got 1 to go. And it doesn't take much to get a guy like him climbing confidence rings.
4-point lead for Melbourne United.
I've seen this a lot with Aaliyah and Mitchell. They've been splitting time a lot throughout the course of the season. In the last game, last weekend, Aaliyah, who hadn't played a lot the previous half a dozen or so games, and Mitchell was getting those minutes. Mitchell didn't play, and Aaliyah was superb.
Played 15 minutes, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. He's been a DNP at Aaliyah in 6 of his 7 prior to that game.
Yeah.
So got an opportunity and made the most of it. And the Krebs into the game.
Oh, that's a double dribble.
Just had a little brain explosion.
Good pressure there from the Phoenix. Looked like that was going to be a good possession from United. Good pop.
Oh boy, that's a telegraph pass. Foxwell left that hanging out there. And Krebs picked it off.
That was just a terrible pass. I'm not sure what Foxwell was thinking. A simple cross-court pass gets picked off. Krebs feels a lot better about himself after a similar easy mistake down the other end with a basic double dribble.
He's picked up the slack for a lot of the season, Tanner Krebs, when Chris Goulding has been injured. Even Shea Ely had 14 starts across this NBL26 season.
Yeah.
Average 7.5 points. There's Shea Ely not playing in this game with another hamstring injury. His 3rd of the season. The hope is, from a Melbourne perspective, Derek, that he'll be right for the play-in series in 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, it's all indications that he should be ready to be able to give some amount of court time. Obviously, may not be able to play full extended minutes.
Lear on the bounce is fouled.
Andrew, early on, United have attempted 5 more field goals than the Phoenix. And they've done a good job shooting the ball from the 3. They're 5 of 10. And they've reduced Phoenix to only 2 of 9 from the 3.
Yeah, that's right. But they've made up for it with getting to the free throw line. This is free throw attempts 12 and 13 coming up. So that's a lot of free throws for them in a quarter of basketball. That's going to be a big question mark about the Phoenix that some have. The amount of three-point field goal attempts they make, almost seemingly regardless of whether they're going in or not. We saw an 8 of 40 game against the Sydney Kings. They didn't back away from it.
Edwards misses another one from close range. Delaney is chopped. So when Southeast Melbourne hit 13 or more threes across this season, so 13 made threes or more in a game, they are 15 and 2.
Yeah, well, that's the number, isn't it?
So how do you guard a team like that then? If you know they're going to shoot so many threes, how do you make their threes difficult?
Well, when they're really cooking, a lot of those made threes are coming off of turnovers, long rebounds, and they get out in transition and get easy three-point attempts. But if you can get him in the half court, the job becomes a little bit easier. So it almost goes back to that two-way situation, Andrew, where your offense at times can really help your defense.
Absolutely, and I think when teams play against them, it's almost like you're going to have to sacrifice something. So let's not let them get those 13. Let's do what we can to guard the three-point line and almost live with some mistakes or a lack of help in other areas, just to take that away from them and see how they function. But you're right, it's hard because a lot of them do come in transition.
7-point lead, it might be a good one in a game of this magnitude. Glover lets it fly. That's a wild one as well. They're now 2 of 10, Southeast Melbourne. And the game is not looking the way that they would want it to look right now. Walker winds the clock down. Inside 3 seconds, found some space, and got it! What a first quarter from Melbourne United. Something that's been desperately lacking to start this year. 33 points in the opening quarter. They lead by 10 after 1 at John Cain Arena.
Walker dances, gets the screen behind the back. Look at that skill. We know he loves a buzzer beater. Tyson Walker, United up by 10.
Thursday night throwdown in the Hungry Jacks. NBL Melbourne United with a 10-point lead at quarter time. 10 first quarter points to Nathan Sobey and Tyson Walker, but it's Melbourne United who have come out to play. I listened into Josh King and it was all about the defensive end. No surprises. He said, are we talking? Are we surprised that they've come out to play? They're going to grab. They're going to go hard. I don't know why we're not playing as hard as them. He's confused about the effort that the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix are putting out at the moment.
Well, the score line would suggest that, exactly to Kelsey's point, that Melbourne have come out and jumped Southeast Melbourne. Oh, John Brown misses one from close range, misses 2 from close range.
And Melbourne United fans get excited because they are 11-0 this season when they score 27 or more in the first quarter.
Oh, wow.
So
that's what he was tapping away at quarter time.
Might have had a little gremlins out there.
Tyson Walker looking for a foul there. It looked like Hunter got him with the body. And I love what Walker's doing, establishing himself as we see him there. Nah, not as bad. But Walker established himself as the man now.
There's 10 points. He's Melbourne's leading scorer. Nathan Sobey has 10 for Southeast Melbourne. He's Bowling has come out in a mood and clearly with a license. Delaney, desperate for something to drop. Daniels had it fall into his lap and scores.
Yeah, right place at the right time. But this is, well, I wouldn't have thought this. Melbourne United, 6 of 13 from the three-point line. They've already had 3 more three-point field goal attempts than the Phoenix.
And their defense looks pretty solid, too. The Phoenix currently at 5 of 16 from the line, from the field goal. And Andrew, the trade-off for the free throws is a good one right now. The math is working well for United.
Glover for Sobey, off balance in the corner. Smart from John Brown, gives the Phoenix a second look. Trailing by double digits, not part of the script. And Nathan Sobey takes matters into his own hands.
It's a tough drive, and he read that really well on the fly. Nathan Sobey got far enough underneath the bucket, and again, just jumps in to Edwards, so he gets another foul. And Sobey goes to the free throw line for their 14th and 15th free throw.
Let's see what the Phoenix conjure up. Sobey knocks down this free throw. I'm sure Josh King, as Kelsey mentioned, wants them to get more intense, more intelligent. And now's their chance right here to crank up the defense.
A little unhappy with what he's seen so far tonight, Josh King. Sets very high standards for this group.
And he'll let you know about it too.
Yeah, and energy is such a big part of what they do on the defensive end. If that's a little flat, it's noticeable.
Jesse Edwards got himself tangled up there trying to pick up the basketball. Looks like a giraffe at a watering hole. Walker. That misses out, and then Edwards disposes of Hunter.
And that'll be his second foul.
Boy 14 runs through him.
As he looks at the referee in disbelief. Struggled at times, Andrew, just his inability to stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah.
Is that a foul?
Well, he drops the shoulder and goes down low, so it just doesn't need to do that. Just stay upright.
Keep your hands out.
Yeah, but, and just don't give the official a chance to find that call.
So some foul considerations there for both teams. And some trust for Sobey and for Doyle, who found themselves in foul trouble early. Wow.
Not much Dash Daniels could do there. That's just individual talent of the highest order.
Nothing sophisticated about the offense. Just dribble it around and fade away. Oh.
Foxwell went through the middle of Walker. (35-27). Throwdown 32 at John Cain Arena. An important game for both teams. We'll take a look at the ladder very shortly with thanks to Mitsubishi Motors. But Southeast Melbourne playing for top 2. Melbourne playing with an outside chance to try and do a little bit of damage of their own and potentially skate up that table a little bit.
Top 2 is such a big advantage. You just don't want to be involved as Golden gets to the cup, draws the foul. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. But you just don't want to be involved in that play-in tournament, Andrew, if you're a team that is.
No,
we
that's
love
right.
to play in.
And right now, you just look at the ladder there, you see it. Melbourne United hoping to get this win and hoping the Adelaide 36ers can come and do a number on Perth. And they also, the percentages there. Now, Davison Boyd.
Yeah.
How, like, what are we talking here? 15-point sort of margins, the percentages in order to...
If I knew how this game was going to turn out in the margin, I could give you a really accurate assessment of.
But it's not. It's not It's not.
No,
it's not like they need a 30-point win or anything like that.
It's well within reach, Andrew,
right.
what you're trying to say.
That's exactly right.
I got you, brother.
4 years of college education from Derek Rucker, and he avoided that entire question. Well done. Us public school boys over here had no trouble with it, Drew.
That's it.
Uh-oh.
Daniels for Edwards, down the middle.
Phoenix just look a little bit flat, just a little bit. And when you play at the energy level they do, in order to get victories, that drop-off can have a significant impact on the score.
And just sometimes straight shooting. They're 6 of 20 from the field. 6 of 21.
And Dino wants his guys to run against them.
Which is not normally the way that Dean Vickerman and Melbourne United would approach a team like South East Melbourne, Derek, that play with pace, but it's working.
Well, there's an old adage that you go at teams that like to play fast with up-tempo. We saw Scott Roth use it against Melbourne United a couple of years ago effectively when we least expected it. And that is foul number 3 on Nathan Sobey.
If this is not reviewed from the angle, we had it straight on. Now, he claimed he was in the right defensive position, Sobey, but they're claiming that he wrapped his arm and grabbed. So, but from where we look, I think this is a challenge.
Nathan Sobey
maybe not
stands with 3 fouls otherwise, and he just threw his hands up to the bench and said, what's this for? Talk us through it.
Well, here it is, and he goes straight down the middle, and this is not bad footwork. Sobey slides, hits him right in the middle. That's on that angle there, that is not a foul.
Yeah, I think it's just good physical defense. Gets his...
That right arm he saw, but it was ineffective.
So timeout, 38-27 with thanks to Tangerine. It's another big crowd inside John Cain Arena, and the Reebok, pumped by Reebok influencer seats are full tonight, including this man who's a very recognisable name in this town.
Yes, I'm here with Jack Ginnivan. Jack, NBL is in full swing tonight. I know you're a Melbourne boy. Who's your team tonight? Melbourne United, South East Melbourne Phoenix?
Yeah, definitely United. Obviously TWO, I just play the Prizes, so yeah, loving the United.
There's plenty of NBA players out here. We know that you love your NBA. Where's a wonder? You've got an NBA champion on the South East Melbourne Phoenix team. Do you like what you're seeing from NBL?
Yeah, it's really good. Hopefully one of my mates, Dash, can get into the league as well, which would be cool as well.
Lastly, Andrew Gaze is a massive Hawthorn fan. Could you give him a little shout out? How's the team looking for the season?
Yeah, we're looking really good. Hopefully I'm back this week and it's all sunshine and rainbows.
That's him saying that you come in first. Great. Thanks so much for your time.
Jack Ginnivan in the house tonight. He's freshly signed a new deal with Reebok as well. He's become a Reebok ambassador in the last 24 hours. Who are the
Wiz is next to him as well.
Yeah, Nick Watson's in the house from Hawthorn.
Hawks royalty right now.
Andrew Gaze might go over and hug them both at half-time. Ian Clark.
Needed. Much needed. Shooting at 27% before that, mate. They're only down 8.
Is that a positive for the
Phoenix?
Phoenix?
Because the feel and the look of the game is that Melbourne have got more of a dominant position.
Doyle at the top of the key, like a hot knife through butter.
Smooth. Does a great job with that dribble. Swings that ball high to split the defenders. Nice touch by Doyle. And Drew, he had some words for you pre-game. Told you he was going to get it going this game. Showed love for our colleague Damon Lowry, who had him in his first team All-NBL. Yeah.
Damon is, I would suggest, on an island with that one. I love that he stuck to his opinions. He looks like Tom Wilson on Shipwrecked. He's just there on his own. Right, Tom Hanks, I should say. Tom Wilson plays for Melbourne.
Drew, is energy shifting a little bit?
Well, what the energy is, and we heard it from Kels and quarter-time break and asking a lot more of his players. And one of the great things is when you see a response from your team, and Josh King has got that, and more importantly, they're making shots now.
John Brown's a dangerous commodity in the mid-range.
Might call a timeout here, Drew.
It's back to 6, and with the way that the Phoenix play, Derek, they've done it really quickly as well.
Back-to-back poor possessions and back-to-back scores by the Phoenix. You don't want to let them get their rhythm going. Now look at this possession. They're pushed out already.
Shot clock at single figures. Doyle can find an avenue to the basket. Gave it up. Krebs with an extra one now for Daniels. United get another look at it.
Love it, Drew. You start to get that playoff vibe, that tenseness in the building.
Oh, Tom Brown just wanted to let Milton Doyle know that if you're going to run a cut, I'm going to be here to check you, and was just a little too vigorous. Look at the cut here, just steps in late, hip and shoulder on Milton Doyle.
Krebs off the inbound. Good look for three. Melbourne are having a good first half shooting the basketball.
He's such a reliable shooter. I think he really should be a part of a higher rotation for United.
So the basket will count. Kyle Bowen now finds himself with 3 fouls.
Yeah, and an N one. Look at the penetration here. Goes up, legs just don't quite get him to throw it down with any sort of authority, but they're just seeing the scoreboard tick over.
43-36. Fourth and final meeting, perhaps, of the season between these two. There's a world where they could connect again.
Well, that would be fascinating, and that could happen potentially in a semi-final situation,
which we have seen before. 2020-21. Southeast Melbourne and Melbourne played in the COVID series in Sydney.
And with one of the greatest teams that's ever assembled, that Melbourne United team.
Yeah.
And Phoenix up 17 with a few minutes to go in the first half in that game 3, and just a remarkable turnaround. But Melbourne United want to have a chat about things. And I don't mind this timeout.
What would Dean Vickerman's mood be right now, do you think?
He'd be happy. He's certainly content with a 7-point lead, but he could just see the trend of the game and the momentum of the game going more in favour of Phoenix, and he wants to put a stop to that.
In particular, they only have 3 turnovers, and if they can maintain that level of ball security, they'll be in this game for a long time, no matter how much pressure and intensity the Phoenix throw at them.
And I just want to give a little shout out to David McFarlane, who's the voice of the Illawarra Hawks, Macca as he's known, been involved in the NBL for decades. He's done himself a bit of a mission, and he's in hospital at the moment, had to have a triple bypass, and the entire basketball community is thinking of you, my friend, and we know you're going to battle through this, and you'll be back behind the mic screaming stupidity like we have heard in the past very soon.
And we're all behind you, Macca. We want to see you back out there sooner rather than later. Great opportunity tonight as well, Derek. This was pre-game. These are the kids from Challenge supporting kids with cancer. This happened pre-game. They got up close and personal. Got to see Melbourne United and Southeast Melbourne warm up. Great to see them here. Great initiative by the teams to get involved and support these youngsters who are having a pretty tough time of things.
Yes.
And I love how the NBL has opened the playing surface up to so many different groups, and those young kids we saw right there get the opportunity to be up close.
That's for sure. And they didn't score out of that set, but I like what Dean Vickerman did. Krebs just hit a 3, and he draws up a play to give him another good look.
And they continue to play with pace. Milton Doyle's had some golden opportunities in this first half that haven't gone down. 2 of 5 from deep. And Phoenix will just keep shooting. I wonder. Falling off balance, it's a 4-point game.
Critical hit there in transition again, Andrew, after a miss. That's how they like to play. That's where their opportunities come from.
Dean Vickerman about to turn to Chris Golding and also Finn Delaney to try and change momentum, because right now they are up against it, Melbourne United. Here come the Phoenix. Glover with the miss, and it was kept alive. And Kyle Bowen slipped over.
Yeah.
So Travis Stewart, the official, has taken the opportunity to break in play, but Melbourne unhappy because they were in the open court.
Well, Andrew, I don't think the wet spot was going to impact the play or provide any danger to what was about to transpire.
No, that's true. The official's just overly cautious. So there you see the wet spot right on the Amy decal. And they're coming down the right side, but yeah.
That's a bit conservative for my liking.
Yeah.
And with this game showing signs of being a really competitive and close one down the stretch.
You may have just noticed a change to the score on your screen as well. That last hit from Awundu has been changed from a 3 to a 2, had a foot on the line.
Melbourne need a bucket. Haven't scored for a few possessions now.
Certainly hasn't been Southeast Melbourne's most fluent first half, but if you're a Phoenix fan, the game is starting to turn in their direction. John Brown whistled for his second foul. Awundu, I apologise, has been whistled for the foul. That's his second also.
Now with the Phoenix sitting on 4 fouls, Andrew, this is where Doyle and Walker really need to be aggressive with the basketball. Challenge those Phoenix defenders. We know they like to foul a lot as it is.
Awundu did everything he possibly could try not to get called for that foul. And it's just a little contact, but the more concerning thing for him is he's picked up his third. So some foul issues now with Awundu and also with Sobey with the 3 fouls.
But again, the Phoenix constructed with tremendous depth and athleticism and length. Come back with Clark and Foxwell to go with Glover as Vickerman and Travis Stewart have a conversation.
Yeah, it's all about that call when he stopped it for safety reasons to clean up the wet spot.
Milton Doyle has 12. He's Melbourne's leading scorer. Nathan Sobey, not on the floor at the moment, has 14 for Southeast Melbourne. It's been Melbourne who have led for most of the contest. And have been able to find a way to make things work. That's a little ambitious from Milton Doyle.
It was the right idea, it was rushed. He just went with the left-hand underarm pass. He had more time, just get it in 2 hands. And when you're making those passes, you've got to just think like it's a flat shot and you're just trying to miss it to the right of the rim.
Similar to the motion that you would take when you're shooting a floater.
Correct. 100%.
100.
100. And
I don't mean to usurp your status as one of the greatest lob throwers basketball's ever seen. I mean,
however,
you did have a pretty athletic guy you were throwing him to.
That's right. And if you want to know how good he was, just ask Leonard.
Timeout Melbourne. That bucket from Dean Vickerman is enough.
Yeah.
For him to want to change things, to want to have a chat, because the Phoenix are within 5 and they are having the better of this second quarter.
Jack, you asked us a few minutes ago how we felt or how Dean Vickerman would be feeling. Not as good as he was in the first quarter. Now he's starting to see Phoenix eating away at their offensive efficiency right back in the game.
But Derek, it's the same problem they've been having. They had 33 points in the first quarter, and they got 12 right now. Now, this has been consistent through this period where they just go through chunks of games where they just can't score.
They might need some help from some legends of the game who are all coming together, and all of these legends knew exactly how to score. A wonderful, wonderful cause that is on your screen right now. You can buy tickets. Drewy, you're involved in this game. Some of the greatest names in Australian basketball coming together on the one day, Saturday the 28th of February at the State Basketball Centre, all for bowel cancer. It's an awesome cause.
It is, and there you see it on there, mycause.com.au, and then you can click your way to get to that other areas. But it's a fantastic cause that's very dear to us. Bowel cancer, we lost our close friend, Corey Homicide Williams, through this disease, and there's some good people out there that are making some strong inroads to find ways to prevent and cure. And this is what this is all about, to try and continue to raise funds to help those super experts out there fix the problem.
What about some of these names and numbers, Derek? 27 Olympic appearances, 51 NBL titles, 13 Australian Basketball Hall of Famers. Talking names like Gaze, Bruton, Smythe, Anderson, Parkinson, Lucas, Michelle Timms, Ray Gordon, Eddie Crouch, Brad Newley. I could keep going. Even Pete Hooley's there.
Incredible. And it's so hard to assemble people nowadays with everything going on in the world. That's just a tremendous feat, and that's going to be a great event.
The basketball community is like no other. Jesse Edwards flies. That's a better possession out of the timeout.
Now they got to back it up with a stop, and Foxwell puts his left forearm right into Walker's grill. Got away with the first one, Drew. Did not get away with the second one.
Well, remember in the first quarter, as he penetrated into the bucket, he did a similar thing with the elbow. That was a more obvious one as he just extends out. We can have a look at the Amy replay, the dunk. Good on-ball action, pick and roll, and Geordie Hunter there is coming up way off, and that's just an accident. He certainly didn't mean it, but that's a foul.
I think Melbourne are asking for something a little extra. I think that's wishful thinking, perhaps, but Owen Foxwell comes out. So quiet so far, Foxwell, who's scoreless. Geordie Hunter hasn't made a field goal so far. Angus Glover yet to make a field goal. So there is upside for South East Melbourne, but it's United who continue on their winning ways. Clark with the block on Walker. Melbourne retain possession, and Doyle lets it fly.
In his sweet spot, moving to his left. We know he loves that shot, whether it's off the bounce with the side step right to left or on the catch on the move like he did just there. Doyle is cooking right now with 15 for United. Wow.
Tough play. Ian Clark and Tyson Walker going at it. Again, I think it was all in good fun and good spirits, but the officials just wanted to make sure that was the case.
They were all smiling, weren't they, the two of them? Two competitors in a game where there is a lot on the line for both. 3-second differential between the game and shot clock. Doyle's been the man for Melbourne in the first half, has 15 points and wants to finish it in style. Can't score. Edwards with the O-board. He scores. A double-figure lead for Melbourne United at the half.
Terrific first half by Melbourne United. Doyle, Walker, Golding, and then Edwards comes in late in the second quarter to make a valuable contribution. This is perfect basketball, exactly how Dean Vickerman would have scripted it.
Let's get over to Kelsey Brown.
Yeah, I'm here with Tyson Walker. Tyson, you were pumped up after that. That first half has been back to Melbourne United basketball. Was that the intent that you came in with today, the energy that you're bringing?
Yeah, we just got to get back to playing defense, getting stops, you know, running good offense, and that's what we're doing right now.
Nathan Sobey has 14 points for the other team, but you seem to be holding him to his own. How do you combat that in the second half?
He's really good. He's making tough shots. You know, just got to keep making them make tough ones. Can't give him any open ones.
Thanks for your time.
Yep.
A massive half here at John Cain Arena. 10-point lead to Melbourne United. Plenty discussed in that first half. Don't go anywhere. We've got the halftime Hungry Jacks highlights right after this. Welcome back to the Hungry Jacks NBL. It's a 10-point lead to Melbourne United. We knew that they had to come in here and turn the ship around, and they've done that in the first 20 minutes, led by none other than Milton Doyle. There's a look at the halftime stats. Andrew Gaze,
yep,
plenty happening on the floor tonight.
It certainly is, and one thing that you don't see on there is second chance points. 12-0 in favour of Melbourne United. That's an area that normally the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix thrive at, but across the board it's been some pretty poor shooting, but then it was a change of fortune for Phoenix in that second quarter, where the defensive intensity started to lift and they started to make some shots.
And I like how Melbourne United fought back when Phoenix threatened them late in that second quarter. We saw United capitulate on Sunday against Illawarra when they were challenged, so I'm sure Dean Vickerman is feeling pretty good that his team showed the resilience to push this lead out to 10.
Well, it was back in round 11. It was a throwdown. It was the first time that Milton Doyle came off the bench for Melbourne United. He's our Hungry Jacks halftime highlights, and there's no surprises there. 15 points for him. He's been massive and embracing that role.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's been a lot of focus on Milton Doyle coming off the bench, even though his numbers, I think, are slightly higher when he comes off the bench than when he started. There's a common thread that, hey, he should be back in that starting lineup. But tonight, when they've needed him most, he's got some really good looks. Getting to the basket, the defense hasn't been quite as connected on him, and that's a perfect example. Milton Doyle hadn't seen those types of looks in a long time, and he's been able to knock them down in impressive first half. Much needed offensive output. Look at the Blackmores shots. 5 of 9 from the field, 3 of 6 from the three-point line. He's had his vitamins.
Absolutely, he has. He's our Blackmore's player profile, like he said. He's been excellent coming off the bench. A guy who's been good for the other team. He is carrying those 3 fouls, though, is Nathan Sobey. He's got 14 points, and when we spoke to Tyson Walker, they said they're happy to live with some of the shots that he's taking, but he's been the man for the Phoenix.
Well, he's 3 of 5 early, and he got his 3-ball going early, but his rhythm was completely interrupted by the foul trouble. Maybe one of them was disputable, but the bottom line is now he's going to have to play this second half with 3 fouls and be aggressive on the defensive end to try and fight back this 10-point lead that United have.
Yeah,
significant challenge right now, Drew. My apologies.
No, and there's a couple of them with that foul trouble, and when you talk about a team that's predicated on real aggressive defense, if you've got a couple of guys on the floor at the same time that's perhaps a little bit hesitant, that may open things up for Melbourne United.
Well, we are in the final round of the regular season, and in true NBL fashion, it's going to come down to the last game. There's plenty of things that can play out. At the moment, Melbourne United are leading the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, but there's our look at the road to the championship, Derek Rucker. And I think we're in for an absolute treat tomorrow night, Perth and Adelaide.
It has major ramifications, as we know. I don't know who's going to win that game. Drewy, Kelsey better not ask me for a tip either.
No, I know. Well, it's so intriguing about what's going to happen. And, you know, ultimately that playing game, you'd expect if it's going to be Melbourne United playing against the Jack Jumpers, Melbourne United would go in with overwhelming favourites with this Jack Jumpers being decimated with injuries. But in a one-off game, that is a nervous, sudden death playing situation where the Jack Jumpers, for whatever reason, seem to enjoy playing against Melbourne United.
Well, tomorrow night we've got two massive games. I mean, the Brisbane Bullets take on the Sydney Kings. That might be a training run for the Sydney Kings.
I'll be in the house, Kelsey. Don't say that.
The Brisbane Bullets, but the Perth Wildcats over at RAC Arena. Bryce Cotton, that man, he returns to the jungle. And we all know what happened the last time those two teams met. I am going to ask for a little bit of a prediction for this game, though. Who wins?
I think Melbourne looks solid. I think they've kind of refound some energy and some vigor, and they're playing a very intelligent game.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Melbourne have put themselves in a nice position, but it's hard to have confidence with them, though, Ruck, given that they go through these periods where they just get flat. So it's going to be a big test for them, but you'd much rather be in Melbourne's situation right now than Phoenix.
Absolutely. It's going to be a big test for the Phoenix too. Good for them to see what they can do and turn around this league. Don't go anywhere, guys. We've got a massive 20 minutes of NBL action still to come here at John Cain Arena.
the final round of this NBL 26 season, and then we turn our attention after Friday to Sunday, the first ever Ignite Cup final presented by Disney Plus, and thanks to 100 Jacks. 50% off tickets. There are still a few available for Sunday between Adelaide and the New Zealand Breakers. 400K on the line, which is very, very cool. 52-42 here at John Cain Arena. Have you got a prediction for that one?
Well, a couple of blokes seem to have got healthy when there's a bit of money on the line, haven't they, for the Breakers? So, no, it's fantastic, and it should be a great game. And hard to go past Adelaide, really, isn't it?
We just saw a wonderful presentation at halftime. We've got quite a few of the players actually still standing around us at the moment from the 2005-06 Melbourne Tigers championship team that swept Sydney 3-0. There's Al Westover, who was the coach of the team. Chris Anstey was the MVP and the finals MVP of that series as well. Darryl McDonald. It was an unbelievable team that they had assembled, and they swept Sydney, who were a very good team in their own right.
My word, they did. It was a fun ride they went on. They just got rid of all the old deadwood that was hanging around the Tigers and got a fresh start and won a championship. So it's great that Melbourne United honouring some of the Melbourne Tigers' history.
And they've been able to get just about everyone here tonight to celebrate as well. And it's my understanding, Derek, that the celebrations might have started about lunchtime today for a few of those boys.
Yeah, well, I got invited by then-owner Seamus McPeak to come upstairs and have a couple of drinks afterwards in the VIP. I think, unfortunately, Andrew, I'll have to pass on that invitation.
I think they'll be rolling by that stage.
Right.
It's probably a good decision.
I don't think I'll be missed.
Phoenix down 10 to start the third quarter. Nathan Sobey short there is their leading scorer with 14 points.
Pass.
Walker obliges with the finish.
Terrific finish. Uses the appropriate English or spin on the basketball, Drew, against the bigger Jordy Hunter. Good start by Melbourne United.
Delaney all up and in on Hunter. No foul, last touch by the Phoenix. It's been Melbourne's issue, Drew, for a lot of the second half of the season is that they come in and out of games, but they seem really locked in tonight.
They do, and there's a lot to play for, and as there has been for right throughout the season, but now when you're at the last game and what's at stake, a potential opportunity to avoid that play-in, sudden death play-in, things are coming together.
Drew, they're just hungry. That's 13 offensive rebounds by United. And it's just not the offensive rebounds. It's any loose ball out on the floor. United just have a little bit more electricity about them to get to the ball.
12-0 in second chance points in that first half. That's an unusual statistic for Southeast Melbourne Phoenix to be on the wrong side of that stat.
Jordy Hunter comes out. John Brown at the free throw line. Let's get over to Kelsey.
It was something I was paying attention to in that first half. There seems to be a calmness and a confidence that's come back into Melbourne United. It's like they know who they are again. Dean Vickerman has returned, obviously, from that appendicitis, but there does seem to be a little bit of a different feeling amongst the United group. It's like they know that they've got this and they're finally finding some form.
Well, Kelsey, one of the advantages of having experienced locals like Melbourne United do is that they can switch a proverbial trigger. You don't want to rely on that, Andrew, but it is a real thing. Certain teams can dig deep and find that resolve to lift their games.
That's true, but the last 6 to 10 games, they've tried to flick the switch.
Well, now they're most desperate. They've had to do it.
Electrical issues, and the fuse was just failing.
I think they hadn't paid the bill at one stage. I wonder who's deep.
You guys are mean. Just trying to provide some context as Golding tries to get on the rim.
Walker turns the corner. He's having some sort of influence. Tyson Walker, 15 points, 4 assists. He's a plus 17 for the night.
Well, he's got to be the catalyst as Sobey pulls up from the mid-range. He's got it going.
Yeah. I think of Tyson Walker, he's got Dave Thomas, that's part of that championship winning team, the 05-06, is Golding, lets fly from the three-point line. He was actually an assistant coach at Michigan State. So he knows Tyson Walker really well.
Nominated for Defensive Player of the Year, Tyson Walker. He's been fabulous. The longer the season's gone, the better he's got. Great D here from Daniels. Made life difficult for Sobey, but he was just that little bit better.
That's twice now where Daniels has done a good job in an ISO situation, and Sobey is able to make a tough shot, both from the mid-range.
He's the only player for Southeast Melbourne in double figures tonight, Nathan Sobey. He desperately needs a couple more to come with him. Finn Delaney can breathe a sigh of relief.
That's big.
Yeah, it is big because anytime they start to make a threat, they look like they're playing catch-up. They've got the answer with some big shots so far.
Awandu flirting with the referee in the worst possible way.
Not the good way.
And he's got 3 fouls. That was very close to a T in number 4.
Golding puts the ball on the floor and then loses Malik Lewis. Veteran goal from Chris Golding. Phoenix in this third quarter having problems stopping Melbourne from scoring. As Lewis gets caught underneath Delaney.
Who they've called the foul on? I think they've called it on Delaney.
Well, in his effort to try and get after this basketball, he gets low.
Yeah. No, that's the right call. Now, it's unfortunate because it's terrific effort by Delaney.
Well, great fortune for Lewis that ankle didn't really get clipped severely, as Dean Vickerman talking to his replay guy, and I don't think that's one you want to utilize a challenge on.
.14 Melbourne United lead. They've led for almost the entirety of the contest.
Well, and Foxwell is having a rough night of it.
Oh
my.
Timeout, Phoenix. Look at what it means to Chris Golding and Melbourne United. They are playing like winners right now, and it's been a while since we said that.
Golding came out aggressively in this ball game, knocked down some shots early. Phoenix started to jam him when he puts the ball on the deck, but uses good ball handling skills, and then shows a dipsy-do.
Yeah.
Beautiful finish off the glass.
They look really connected. There's, as you would be when you're 16 points up, feeling good, but really connected and great spirit.
66-50 in the Tangerine timeout. Some thinking to do for Southeast Melbourne. Huge shout out to Kmart. They've been great supporters again of the Game Time series across this season, have been for a number of years right now. This could be happening at your school. The Phoenix come to town and nearly destroy the rim.
Yep. We dunk on everybody. It doesn't matter.
The kids having a great time as well.
Look,
this is where it all starts, in the schools.
No doubt, and the time and the attitude of the players when they go out there to really engage those kids in the Mitsubishi Motors live ladder. And Adelaide fans cheering hard for United.
And here is where it gets interesting with that percentage that we were talking about in the second quarter. Melbourne leading by 16 have now got within...
Yeah, I told you.
No, you didn't.
A whisker.
We asked you, and you fluffed around.
You actually didn't tell us anything.
And but this is a good point you make, Jack. It's not just about the win; it's the margin for the win as well. If they're good enough to get it.
And for the Phoenix, they're watching their top 2 chance slip away, which would mean a 3v4 play-in game against likely the Perth Wildcats.
And that is not a team Southeast Melbourne have fared well against this season. In fact, Perth have beaten them in their last 2 matchups, if I'm correct, Jack.
And there is a possibility, with all of these things playing out with the ladder here, that Melbourne could get to 4th, and we could have a 3v4 Southeast Melbourne versus Melbourne playing game.
A lot of stress, Drew.
I'm losing my hair thinking about it.
Melbourne United, since quarter time, have held the Phoenix to only 27 points. And this is a Phoenix team that puts up 100 without thinking about it.
Number 1 team in the competition for points per game.
And you see what Jesse Edwards is doing is that he's just camping in the paint, really allowing Brown freedom on the perimeter. And that's if he's going to play that far off, if that's the strategy they're going to employ, Brown becomes a lethal screener because there's going to be no help with the defense being so far off.
Or a dribble handoff guy.
Yeah, DHOs or on balls, it's going to be tough.
On the flip side, however, with Edwards in there, it does take away the potential for Melbourne United to get caught in defensive rotations, which could lead to good looks by the Phoenix from the three-point line. But by the way, they're 3 of 17 now from the 3 as Walker dribbles that one out of bounds.
He wants a challenge.
Not worth it.
Phoenix do a good job getting him in bounds quick.
Oh, Foxwell just went to the free throw line with his first couple of points of the evening. He's found it challenging, as has Hunter. Great pass from Lewis.
Phoenix, one of the really good assist teams. That's only number 7 for them as Milton Doyle steps out of bounds.
Average 22 a game, Southeast Melbourne across the regular season. .12-point game. Just having a little swing here in favour of the Phoenix. That's an offensive foul on Foxwell, and that'll be his third.
I mean,
it's his third offensive foul.
Yeah.
He and Walker have been going at it. One would think that Foxwell does not like Walker as he gets into the gap and then just really puts that shoulder into him unnecessarily. I think he would have drawn contact had he just exploded to the hoop.
Yeah, I think that's what, when your confidence is a little down, you start to seek things out, try to get some help from the officials, and that time there, he didn't really need to do it like you mentioned, Derek.
Golding wasn't open. And Jesse Edwards has to try and manufacture something. Stripped by Foster. He's done some nice things in the limited minutes that he's got this evening. Daniel Foster. Awundu steps back. He's shooting the basketball well. All of a sudden, they're back within 9, and Dean Vickerman wants to chat.
They're so explosive on the offensive end. A 12 or 14-point lead against this team is not the same as a 12 or 14-point lead against most other teams because of the potency and how quickly their offense can click into gear.
4 of 18 from the night from outside Southeast Melbourne. And to your point earlier, Derek, they do average 101 points a game. They can put points on the board quickly. So no lead is ever safe with this team.
And again, it's a two-way situation. I thought United ran a couple of good sets. It didn't work out for them. Edwards fumbled one away. And the Phoenix make them pay. So right now, coming out of this timeout, Jack, good execution by United. Get a bucket and get back to defending. Look what we got coming up.
Well, this is Monday night. The Gazies at Crown Casino in Melbourne. You'll be able to check the whole thing out wherever you are. So we crown all of our award winners. Kawatno, it'd have to be a massive chance once again for 6th Man of the Year. And then, of course, there is the MVP race.
Oh, boy. And I've gone out, got my suit organized as we look at 5-time winner Bryce Cotton. Hey, Andrew, do you have to RSVP for those awards?
My word, I do. Absolutely, I do.
Okay.
And
just curious.
Got a couple of reminders that I hadn't.
Oh.
And looking forward to it. It's a fun night.
I will be attending my own awards. Yes, I will be there.
You'll be hosting, won't you, Jack?
I don't think they could find anyone else, so I'll be there. Popped into Men's Club. They've got me sorted for Monday night. Can't wait. The Gazies, where we crown all of our award winners for this NBL 26 season. Turnover Melbourne. A score here quickly from the Phoenix, and all of a sudden,
yeah,
the plot thickens in the throwdown. Great pass again from Lewis. Doyle got Foster from behind.
Absolutely. Tomahawk that shot by Foster. Good cut and feed by Lewis.
What an arm from that angle. Looked like that Foster might have had his arm.
They can only call what they can see, Andrew.
Phoenix from the baseline. Malik Lewis was left open and got it.
Now this is genuine scoreboard pressure now for the Phoenix. Excuse me, for United. They haven't had this for a while. That helps. Oh, no, it doesn't. Wide open layup. That's that pressure I was talking about, Derek.
Back within 6. Southeast Melbourne have scored the last 10 in the game. Sobey demands the ball. And then finds Ian Clark. They can't miss.
Great flare screen set by John Brown III. Sobey delivers a perfect pass to Clark. Floater, ball game on. No foul called there.
And here's that flat spot for Melbourne United that we've been talking about. And it's come at an inopportune time for them.
Yeah. And Chris Golding's on the bench. When you're struggling for points, he's the sort of guy that I'd like to have out there, either as a scoring threat, but he's had some niggles the last few weeks, and it looks like there's further issues that he's needing to address.
Well, he's played 20 minutes thus far. He's got 14 points. Looks to be moving fine.
Sobey over the top of Krislovic. What a turnaround in this game.
Speaking of moving fine, Sobey getting it done. 20 already in this one. Foul trouble slowed him down for a minute, Jack.
From 16 down, Derek, to just 2. Major shift in this game in the third quarter. Walker can't connect, and Southeast Melbourne come up the floor to tie it or take the lead. Malik Lewis has it jump out late.
Daniel Foster's done a good job in just giving energy. In 8 minutes, he's a plus 13.
Doyle pulls up. Foul here on Finn Delaney for a hold. So,
well, after that initial flurry, because that's going to be 4 on Delaney, but after that initial flurry to start the third quarter, again, the offense just dries up, and you're up against an elite offensive team. You've seen some of the shot making and how they can score. You just got to find a way to keep that scoreboard ticking over when you get that advantage, which Melbourne United have not. But one team that has no problems whatsoever in putting points on the board is the Harlem Globetrotters.
I think over the course of 100 years, we've learnt that, haven't we? Their opposition struggle a bit.
They do. The Washington Generals.
Scores are level in the throwdown.
And Andrew, you talked about this third quarter drought that Melbourne United have gone into. They've only scored 14 points. But at the half, they only had 4 turnovers. They now have 11, 7 TOs in this quarter, and 8.
Malik Lewis has played some really, really important minutes in this third quarter. Comes up with the steal off that possession. Ian Clark can't land against his former team.
I tell you,
they're in a hole right now, Melbourne.
It is, but if you get it, when you're watching this game, just when a shot goes up, just take your eyes off the ball and the shooter for a minute and just watch the work of John Brown. Now, he didn't come up with that rebound, but it is just an incredible work ethic that he has to go get the boards or contest, provide another opportunity for his teammates.
We are back to where we started between these two teams. Melbourne led by 16, but that matters for little right now. 66 v 66 is the number that counts. There is no avenue to the basket here for Melbourne United. Sobey always capable of finding a way. Incredible Nathan Sobey.
He sees a crack, and he's the type of guy you don't want playing around in your backyard. He'll take full advantage, comes down in transition. Big time three by Sobey. Another loose ball. Oh, wow. Melbourne United got to get a handle on it.
Great work by the youngster Coppins in his first minute of the game in a throwdown. Breaks a 19-0 run. And to say that Melbourne needed that is a gross understatement. The Phoenix can finish this third quarter with a flurry. One of the competition's best against one of Australia's best youngsters. Sobey v Daniels. Sobey pulls up. Oh, yeah! Woo! Nathan Sobey leading the way for South East Melbourne, who had a 27-point third quarter. This is going to look pretty on the Amy replay.
Sobey, eyes on the clock, eyes on the bucket, gets a little screen. Amy replay, it tells the story. 3-ball Sobey, he's got 26. Phoenix up by 4.
What was Krishlovic doing? He just made one.
The game has changed before our very eyes. This is what we come to expect in a throwdown.
It is all happening here at Throwdown 32 at John Cain Arena. It was a 10-point lead to Melbourne United at the half. 16-point lead they ended up blowing in that third quarter. A massive turnaround from the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, led by their captain, Nathan Sobey. He's got 26 points. Melbourne United have gone back to Milton Doyle to start this last term. He went scoreless, 15 points at the half, scoreless in that third term. What can Milton Doyle do for Melbourne United in this fourth?
Well, they need someone, Melbourne United, because that third quarter really got away from them. 30-16. What a shift.
Well, the 8 turnovers and poor offensive execution just opened the floodgates as Walker goes unhappy from 3. But that really opened the floodgates for Southeast Melbourne to get it going on the offensive end, which they did. 30 points in that third quarter, Drew.
Yeah, that was just an explosion by Nathan Sobey. And if you haven't seen a lot of him, you're seeing why he is one of the top 3 candidates for the MVP in the season. And then you speak of Milton Doyle, and he knocks down the 3-ball.
They desperately need him. Had 21 last Sunday. Only had 5 in the first half of that game. Got himself going after the main break. He looms large in the fourth quarter. 1-point game at John Cain Arena. Thursday night hoops here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. It's the final round and it's delivering.
Well, that's tough. It's a tough shot and the finish, but it's tough when you're having a rough night to still have that belief in yourself to take matters in your own hands and create something off the dribble, get into the paint.
First field goal of the game.
Oh, now this
on Foxwell.
Big
this could
play
be
here.
a telling moment right now. Nathan Sobey needs to just check his emotions. They got tangled up with Milton Doyle and gets called for a foul. So they make the change on his defensive assignment. Have a look.
That's usually going to go against a defensive player. That's Sobey's 4th foul. Glover getting set to check in for Sobey.
So they take him off Doyle. And Sobey now guarding Krebs.
Foxwell guarding Walker. Pulls up, buries it.
Loves a buzzer beater. Tyson Walker finding his identity within that Melbourne United team. 18 points, 5 assists. He's been impeccable.
Sobey misses out. Thought he was fouled. The sub looks like it's coming. Milton Doyle in transition. Big rebound by Tanner Krebs, and United have had a rejuvenation of energy to start quarter number 4. Krebs for Doyle. No good. Bowen on the offensive glass, and United continue to pile on pressure. What about the spin from the 7-footer?
Great agility there by Jesse Edwards. Been quiet on the offensive end in this second half. Needs that bucket. And now we'll get some substitutions.
Sobey out, Brown out. Hunter and Glover back in.
Bowen doing a good job in getting another possession. Edwards, good hands. Snatches that ball through as he goes up to finish off the glass. Quarter by quarter, United out 8-2 real quick.
What's changed in the fourth quarter?
Their energy is different. And Walker and Doyle out there certainly gives this offensive line a much different look. 2 guys that are cooking.
Oh, Wundu foul. Oh, 3-ball goes. Extra on its way.
Wow, that's a tough shot, I wonder. Inspired by Nathan Sobey with that high on-ball screen coming off, and this time the defense closes out a little too hard. Amy replay. There it is, just a little late by Bowen, and I wonder appreciating some of his work.
Well, he's turned out to be one of the truly strong, solid defensive signings of NBL26. He fits into what Josh King is looking for at that position, ideally. And his 3-point shot has really come along nicely in the second half of the season.
Yeah, that's the big thing, though. They start off with thinking, oh, geez, is that going to be consistent enough? But once he's found his rhythm, he's been a real tough cover. So is this guy here. Walker just stepping up when Melbourne United need him most.
He's been asked to take on more responsibility in recent weeks, Tyson Walker, and it looks good on him. Hunter rolls. No score, Phoenix. United push the issue. And a late whistle on Malik Lewis.
That's 133.
Potential delay of game warning as well. Have a look at the foul. And that was a well-disguised intentional foul. Knew what he was trying to do, just stop the play. Take away the transition opportunity.
Adelaide and Perth fans in particular will be watching on closely to what's happening here at John Cain Arena. Tomorrow night, those two go head-to-head. Walker again. Not that time.
Yeah, Perth are just having to do something that they feel very uncomfortable about, and that is parrying for the Phoenix.
I'm not sure they've got it in them, to be honest, the Wildcats fans, to support Melbourne.
Well,
This is an interesting one. Iwundu attacks the rim, and Melbourne United defenders wind up underneath him. He goes into Doyle. Ooh. That's an interesting one.
Foul? Yes or no?
I thought it was a play on myself. It also looked to be a hint of an elbow to Doyle's face. He didn't complain much. Let's go, play on.
There's Iwundu talking about his three-point shooting. He's got that up to 35% for the season now, and he's a plus 154 for the season.
Yeah, more than respectable when you're at 35, particularly with the start he had to his career here, where it was a little shaky. But it's not just about the offense with him. He's bought in perfectly to the system that Josh King has in place. Long, athletic, pick people up the floor, can shoot the three ball.
Crowd of a little under 9,000 here tonight at John Cain Arena.
They just keep showing up for the big games here at JCA.
And this one has not disappointed. Mr. Fourth quarter gets going.
And he's done something to his ankle. Again, that is the 5th shot in this game that he's hit, moving to his left.
Melbourne with a slender 2-point lead. It hasn't been Angus Glover's night, but that's his moment.
He doesn't care, Jack. He has no memory.
You say that about the entire Phoenix team. They just keep loading it up. And Milton Doyle, we saw in the last on-ball screen, comes off, and watch his ankle. Just the inside twist. Stepped on Iwundu's foot.
All teams have got a break after this week. They can rest up, recover during the fever break, and be ready to go for the play-in series. Dates to be announced very, very shortly. This game has a lot to do with where everyone will finish. Edwards cleans the mess up.
Walker lucky. Air ball off the mid-range pull-up. Edwards is there to clean it up. Back and forth.
They have absolutely smashed Southeast Melbourne on the rebound count tonight, Melbourne. Here's Doyle. Melbourne by 3. Southeast Melbourne call a timeout. United playing like it matters right now. The throwdown delivering once again. Costly turnover.
Right now, with each team scrambling, trying to find the ascendancy over the other. Offensive rebounds, turnovers, free throws generally play a huge role in deciding the outcome of games like this.
Yeah, and both teams, after a slow shooting start, really get things going. 41% from the three-point line for United, 36% from Phoenix. They are really strong numbers, but it's the one that surprised me is the volume. Melbourne United, 14 of 34, and the leading three-point attempt teams on the season, the Phoenix, 9 of 25. So United launching up 9 more than Phoenix is a little surprising.
It's business time in the throwdown, 86-83 with 5 minutes and 14 seconds remaining. What a night Nathan Sobey has had. 26 points, 4 of 7 from deep. He's now within 2 of Bryce Cotton on the Mitsubishi Motors three-point ladder leaders.
Well, he can very easily knock down a few more. He's carrying 4 fouls at the moment. And more importantly than trying to catch Bryce Cotton, he's got to stay in this game and help his team win to keep their chances of finishing in the top 2 alive.
Phoenix go back to Daniel Foster, who gave some great spark and energy in the third term, which is what they need again. They trail by 3. Glover at the top of the key. Edwards takes care of the rebound. Number 8 of the evening to go with his 12 points. Edwards with the size advantage, just uses those long levers, floats it in.
Good patience there by United. They eventually get it inside to Edwards, and he, again, that length, so tough to deal with. Nathan Sobey is super tough to deal with when he's in this type of form. 9 of 14 from the field. He's got 29.
This is a breathtaking performance from Nathan Sobey. Right throughout the night, every single time South East Melbourne have needed someone, it's been Nathan Sobey to take them there. Golding fires away from, I think that was around the Ballarat region, he was that far out.
Yeah.
Glover just finds a little bit of room. Double-double on the way for Jesse Edwards. Has had 7 of them across the NBL season coming into tonight. Certainly hasn't been his most prolific, but he's done the job. Tyson Walker is doing the job for Melbourne again.
Drewy, great job there by Finn Delaney, recognizing he could get Walker the basketball with Foster on him. Easy blow by there.
I think they need to come back with Owundu. They need to get him back in the game for both. And as I say that, we see him and Clark checking back in, and Dean Vickerman sees the substitutions and wants to have a chat about things. Timeout, Melbourne United.
3 minutes and 11 seconds left in his Tangerine timeout. 90 to 86. If you have just joined us in the third quarter, Melbourne led by 16 points, and then South East Melbourne went on a 19-0 run to get scores back to level. And since then, we've been trading buckets.
Well, South East Melbourne did a great job of cranking up their defensive energy, forcing a lot of Melbourne United turnovers in that third quarter. However, in this quarter, Melbourne United have been spotless with the basketball. No turnovers at all. And this guy, Tyson Walker, is the primary reason. They put it back in his hands and lived with his decisions. He's knocked down big threes. He's gotten to the cup. I like the usage, Drewy. Get after it, be aggressive.
Yeah, 5 of 9 from the three-point line as well to go along with 5 assists. He only has 1 turnover for the game, and Melbourne United have 12 in that department. 9 of 18. It's the 18 is the number. That is something early on in the season he was prepared to create and get others involved. And in the last month or so, a combination, I suspect, from Melbourne United realizing got to find a way to get him more shots, and he's a lot more proactive on the offensive end of creating for himself.
Kelsey Brown, what did Dean Vickerman have to say?
Well, it was all about that offensive end and Milton Doyle getting the ball in his hands. He's going to Nathan Sobey as well, so he's got a defensive job there as well. But just peep where Melbourne United have gone. They've gone back to their starters from the start of the season, the ones that they trust. I'm not surprised with that.
Winning time for both teams. Sobey comes up with it.
And again, another smack across a player's face is Golding in his attempt to swipe that ball from Sobey. Catches one. Oh, the inside of Sobey's forearm.
Stay down for a long period of time. They can't send anyone out there to help him. The minute they send a physio or a support team to go out there and check him out, he's got to come out of the game.
Just checking for a little bit of blood there too. I think Chris Golding got him right on the bridge of the nose.
Now the Phoenix look for a lot of penetration and kick. They've got this small ball lineup in effect right now.
Clark denied by Edwards. Stalked him all the way to the cup.
Edwards has been very good in this game. That's his second block shot. Done a good job on the glass. And again, just getting a little bit more intelligent, Andrew, about how he challenges shots and the way he protects the paint.
Yeah, that was certainly put on a platter for him by Clark on that occasion.
And also, he's getting a little bit more of the basketball on the other end. He's got 10 field goal attempts for 7 makes.
We'd fouled out in 2 of his last 3 games coming into tonight. It had been a little bit of an issue for Jesse Edwards. And Derry, there's no question that when he's not on the floor, that it's not quite the same for Melbourne United. They need him out.
Well, they get small, and they can be exposed by teams with big centers like a JaVale McGee or Joe Gawala-Chul Jr.
Shot clock at 8 for Tyson Walker. Edwards with another rebound and plenty of contact in that rebounding contest.
Clark just came in and sacrificed a foul, said, hey, you're going to have to earn these from the free throw line. But as he was going up, he's caught, I wonder, in the box, and he's got some issues. Have a look. Clark just says, nah, I'm just fouling here.
Oh, another hit across the nose. And Jesse Edwards is one of those players, Andrew. A lot of elbow, a lot of knees. He's long. He doesn't mean to pop you in the head. But we played against guys like that. They just can't help themselves.
Yep.
They don't mean to do it with any intention or malice.
And then was also played against guys that just have a knack of looking like that's all they're trying to do.
Right.
But are intentionally trying to hurt you. But there you see Chris Golding.
There's a look.
They need to, I appreciate that he's got to come out of the game, he's bleeding.
They need to fix that up and get him back in the game.
Get him back out. Wrap a bit of tape around him and get him back out there.
I don't think that's the way to go. Maybe some gauze up the nose might be more appropriate. I mean, I'm not a doctor.
It's nice to hear you say that you're not a doctor.
We're fully aware of that. We just thought you might be playing.
I'm certain you've used that line before.
A bit more courage and just patch it up and get out there deep.
91-86. 2.5 minutes remaining, a little less than that now. Jesse Edwards with an official double-double, his 8th of the season. Ian Clark from deep.
4-point play. Now, as the official on the other side of the floor, the closest official didn't call that. The official on the other side of the floor makes the call. And it's a pushing foul on Walker.
Let's go, Tyson. Oh. Let's not delay the game. Don't delay the game.
Oh. Was it?
It looked like a real slight brush.
Clark misses. Melbourne by 2. You can win yourself a 12-month Disney Plus subscription. Great partnership with the NBL, and you can scan the QR code and win yours now. We'll jump on the app and enter that way as well. It's all there for you. And you can watch quality NBL basketball like the game we're seeing here. 2 more for Edwards.
He's too big. In this 4th quarter, he's been dominant down there. Now got 7 offensive rebounds.
Jordy Hunter unsighted in this last quarter. And maybe they need just a bit more size in there, perhaps.
Well, I think they're torn, Andrew, between the good offensive production and trying to limit Jesse Edwards on the old glass.
Here's Milton Doyle. Krebs gets after it. Melbourne can wind the shot clock down.
19 offensive, 20 offensive boards now for Melbourne United.
Great hands for Owundu.
Oh, he traveled.
Changed his pivot foot, didn't he?
Absolutely got away with one there, right in front of the Melbourne bench. Ian Clark knows exactly what it takes at this stage of a game. Sobey for Brown. United survive.
Good defense there. Getting out, taking away the 3 ball. Off of ball screens. Good communication by United.
We are going all the way to the end in the throwdown. Walker to be the hero, misses out, misses everything. Sobey on the fly. Clark in rhythm.
Bad shot.
Back-to-back bad shots. Walker had Edwards wide open underneath on a jump pass opportunity as the United crowd rises to their feet.
Blockbuster finish coming up. Doyle surveys the time, surveys his options. Decides that it's time for him to be the man. Lewis got him.
Shot clock expired. Phoenix want a timeout. They want to advance it. What a play by Lewis. Read it perfectly. Great timing. This has been their go-to down the stretch a lot. And yes, Milton Doyle delivers, but it sticks in his hands a lot going up against an established defense. And they're checking if there's a little bit more time on the game clock.
Let's give the next star some love. Recovers greatly after Doyle hit him with a terrific left-to-right crossover. And Lewis elevates, gets that ball out of the air.
He's made some really big defensive plays in the second half, Malik Lewis. So the shot clock, we're being told, has expired, so it'll be a Southeast Melbourne ball.
And they'll advance it. And right now, you got plenty of time to give yourself some options. And for me, in this circumstance, you want to set up a play where you might have a look at a 3-ball and a slipping action if they want to overplay it, protect it. And you shouldn't be afraid to go to a OT if you're Phoenix. Sometimes, you know, you're thinking, well, on the road, you go for 3. And yes, they're on the road, but they're on the road is 15 metres on the other side of the score bench.
Yes.
And Josh King has said they will inbound this ball right in front of our commentary position. So we'll get a good look at it. Obviously, the Phoenix want this ball to work through Nathan Sobey's hands and then go from there. But I would think Sobey would be a real good candidate to try and get on the rim or in the paint and make a play, knowing that if he gets fouled in a non-shooting motion, he's still going to the line to shoot 2.
Are you taking the 3 or are you taking the 2?
I'm going for overtime myself. Drew?
Like I said, my action here is have something to free up a really good shooter. But if there's an overplay, a slip might be on, and the action at the rim, if you've extended the defense out to protect the 3, and I'm not unhappy, so I'm trying to design a play where you've got both the actions available to you.
And I also think any type of dribble handoff or a screening situation, there could present the opportunity for the Phoenix screener to slip it, dive to the basket, look for a quick pass and a finish at the hoop.
And I want Edwards in that screening action because he's been playing off.
Ball in the hands of Sobey. Walks it into the paint, misses everything.
They need a foul. They need a foul.
Golden opportunity. Goes begging. They don't foul. Wow. Unbelievable finish to the throwdown.
They have no timeouts left.
Why did they not foul?
Well, they got a good penetrating look from Nathan Sobey. Just didn't get the angle right with his attempt off the glass. Bit of confusion there.
Yeah.
Sobey doesn't get it. Doyle gets the rebound, and right there, Brown, you got to foul him right away. He does not. He delays, lets valuable seconds and their opportunity to finish number 2 in the competition ticks away.
There's only 0.5 left, and make the first, miss the second. You can do, because just make 2. Just make 2, and it's a 4-point game, and it's impossible to win for the Phoenix. Out.
Extraordinary. This game has had everything.
Playoff atmosphere, playoff skill level, outstanding by both these teams.
Doyle takes care of it. Melbourne United come up with a massive win And all hope is not lost for United in this NBL26 season. They head into the play-in with some momentum. And for the Phoenix, they have to sit back and watch and see how it all unfolds tomorrow night.
Melbourne United take the season series between these two teams 3-1, but no victory was bigger than this one right here. Give themselves an opportunity to climb that ladder pending other results and totally spoil the top two chances for their rival, Southeast Melbourne.
And even beyond that, they were challenged in this one like they've been challenged and come up short. But this time, they got down and found a way to respond. And Milton Doyle, well, he's just continues to grow, coming off the bench, 25 points, 8 of 17 at a really good clip. 5 of 12 scoreless in the third, but was able to come out and knock down some big shots in the fourth.
The twists and turns of the NBL season. We've just seen another one tonight at John Cain Arena. The Phoenix had all but locked in a top 2 spot. They just needed to win tonight. But Melbourne had other ideas. And there's a possibility that these two get back together in a play-in game. United win 95-91 at John Cain Arena. We're going to come back and wrap it up on the other side of this in the Hungry Jacks NBL. We told you right from the start tonight that something always happens in a throwdown between Melbourne and Southeast Melbourne. Tonight, no exception. United down on form, down on confidence, beat the Phoenix 95-91 in a thriller.
And when they needed it most, they got a great contribution from their 3 imports. Walker, Edwards, Doyle. They combined for 65 points. And as you look at the full-time stats, United do a very good job in limiting Southeast Melbourne's made 3-pointers below that magical threshold of 13, Andrew.
They defended the 3-ball really well, but more importantly, they made some threes as well, making 14 at really crucial times. It's been an area where it's been a bit of a roller coaster for them, but they found a way to get some make some big buckets. And Tyson Walker was exceptional with his 23 points. As you look at the ladder, and that means that's where Phoenix are going to finish. They're going to be in that first play-in game, which is not sudden death. You lose that one, then you've got to play the winner of 5 and 6. So, and Josh King argues that, hey, that long break, if you go straight to the semi-finals, potentially 3 weeks off, he'll get to play. As long as you win, it might be a blessing in disguise.
So that's the tail of the tape right now with thanks to Mitsubishi Motors. A reminder that tomorrow night is where we find out how it finishes. The final piece of the jigsaw puzzle, Brisbane and Sydney first. I think it would be fair to suggest that Sydney are pretty warm favourites going into that game.
You would be correct there.
But it's what comes next. It is the one that's fascinating. 9:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Check your local guides. The Perth Wildcats, Adelaide 36ers. That's where the intrigue lies.
Well, this game now with Melbourne United's victory has taken on increased magnitude. The Wildcats must win this one to get spot number 4.
Awesome night here at John Cain Arena. On behalf of Andrew Gaze, Derek Rucker, Kelsey Brown, and our team behind the scenes who are the best in the business. Thanks for being with us tonight. The regular season comes to an end tomorrow in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jacks and Bunnings Warehouse.